What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Daniel Kelley podcast. I'm your host, Daniel, and today's guest is Josh Link. Josh, I'm glad you're here, man.
Man, I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, dude.
I don't think the people are ready for this one.
I don't think they're ready.
They better lock in.
I want to give you a proper introduction, so I hope that's all right. So, Josh is the founder of Visionary Meals, a 7-figure software-driven meal prep company built from nothing but conviction, grit, and a 4-burner stove in his apartment.
Well put.
Yeah, Josh was raised on a farm in Ohio, played college football, and even spent time in the police academy. But when God laid a new vision on his heart, he chose to walk away from the safe path, and he's never looked back. His story isn't just about business, it's about impact, obedience, and building a culture where people feel seen, valued, and challenged. Dude,
that's good.
I am glad you're here, man.
Man, that's it, man. What an introduction. Yeah. I didn't deserve all that.
No, dude, you do. You're doing it.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks, brother.
Dude.
Appreciate everything that you're doing in the community. I've seen some of the individuals on this podcast, and they are amazing individuals, and it's such an honor to be on the same podcast with some of them and yourself here. I just love what you stand for, brother, and I appreciate everything that you're doing in our community.
Dude, yeah, it's and likewise too. I just you're a magnetic individual, and like I just knew that off the bat when I was stalking your Instagram over the last few days,
figuring out.
And this wasn't gonna be my. Actually, no, we're gonna get to that. I'm trying to try and stick to some
There's
sort
a lot
of framework.
Exciting stuff to talk about today.
I know. But I wanna dive in just kind of the beginning of your story, because I just love to just paint the picture of people's lives, people's walks, just because we can, the listeners can relate in some capacity. So I've got you quoted saying, "Discipline was always rooted in me." Who do you think planted that seed? How was that seed planted? Where does that come from?
Yeah, I would have to give credit to my parents on that one. Growing up on a farm at a very young age, and really just my entire life, it was one of those things that on a hot summer day, my old man would be out there. Let's go, let's get out there and bale some hay. And while you're doing all that hard work, you're expecting or wanting, I should say, compensation, right? And my old man would be like, "Boy, you got a roof over your head, right? Why don't you be thankful for that?
Boy, you got a roof over your head.
Get out here and bale this hay." And man, it's times like that, on the hay wagon and 90-degree weather.
Yeah.
And we're just tossing hay, man. And it sucked, but it was always so rewarding.
Yeah.
Jumping in that pond afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
So refreshing. And just the feeling of accomplishment, and knowing that we did just do all that work. And when I say we, because I always did it with a couple football buddies and stuff.
Yeah.
We did just do all that work, and yeah, we didn't receive a monetary compensation for it, but we received a work ethic that no other city boy or anything else out there was getting it. So I would say that's where discipline truly was rooted, and then going forward. Going through college, that was an eye-opener for me when it came to just true discipline playing college football.
Yeah,
and that experience there was incredible.
Did you grow up with any siblings?
An older brother. Yeah, his name's
brother?
Tyler. Yeah,
Was Tyler out there baling hay with you too?
Yep, and that's the other thing, man. That's actually a great point. Keeping up with the older brother.
Yeah.
He's 3 years older than me. And so trying to keep up with him my entire life, including all of his friends.
Yeah.
It just really pushed me to excel at a high level.
Yeah. What was your relationship like with your parents? Or what's it like?
Great. Great. It was great then. It's great now. I love my parents. I'm so thankful for my parents.
Yeah.
They are a big reason of my success today.
Yes.
They are a pivotal moment even in Visionary Meals to this day. And we would not be where we are today without them.
Yeah.
It's never been much of a monetary compensation, but their time, their love, and their compassion, and their support for me, and just overall belief.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, like, one day I brought this idea of starting Visionary Meals to my mom, and she said, "Josh, I believe you can do it. If there's anyone that can do it, it's you." And that was that stamp that I needed to say, okay, I've got the belief of 2 people that I adore and look up to.
Isn't it crazy that's like, that is the approval that we crave.
100%.
It's just our parents' approval.
100%. Yeah.
It's like the rest doesn't really matter, but if you can sure, feeling appreciated for on the outside, it's great. But if your parents that creates a chip on your shoulder, bro.
It does. And I never realized that growing up, and honestly, to this day, I didn't realize it for myself personally until I started meeting individuals that did not have that.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
What do you notice about them? What's the difference between you and them?
That's a great question. I would say trust.
Yeah. Dude.
Trust and belief in in themselves.
Yeah.
It's a huge implication, and actually multiple people very, very close in my life did not grow up with either both of their parents or one or the other.
Yeah.
And the role that I see myself playing in their lives, not that it's a father figure role, but in a way it is of this support and encouragement. I believe a gift that God has given me is that I can see someone's potential before they do.
Yes.
And sitting down with these individuals and really helping them maximize and truly seeing what their potential is, because they never had someone at a young age saying, you can do this.
Yeah.
I believe in you. And so being that individual says, wow, I see something inside you.
Yeah.
You can do this. I believe you. And at 30 years old, these individuals are like, okay, wow, I've never had that in my life. Let's go do this. It's cool.
It's crazy. I read in this book, I think it was Practicing the Way. Have you heard by John Mark Comer? Okay. He's a pastor out in Portland, Oregon. But he's talking about how like your ability to love is in direct relation to how much love you received. So like,
man, amen.
If you don't come from a background of, like loving parents or just like your ability to love other people, love yourself is like, it's not where it could be.
Correct. Right? 100%. Love is the key ingredient to
Dude,
all things.
Everything.
I mean,
bro.
Jesus set that example from us.
Everything.
Years and years ago, right? And going through life now, that is what I've learned at age 30. It's just like love trumps all triumphs.
Oh, dude, you couldn't have said it any better, dude. That has been a big thing that, I've been learning about, which is love.
Yeah.
Because it can change absolutely anything. It changes your business. It changes all your relationships. Like if there isn't love in it, like things crumble and it's crazy.
It is crazy. It's the foundation. And I have done life without love at the center.
Yeah.
And I've done life with love at the center. And I promise you, keeping love at the center.
Yeah. What's that look like when you're not? What's that feel like, dude? You can feel it, bro.
100% feel it. You live selfishly.
Yeah.
You live selfishly. You live fleshly. Right. Living in love is so much more than just being kind to someone.
Yeah.
Right. It's being empathetic.
Yes.
It's being compassionate, but it's supporting them and an emotion that they have maybe never felt before. Right. We come back to not having that at your childhood. Right. Everyone has the opportunity to show love, right? That is one of the greatest gifts that we have the ability to do, right? And God allows us to freely choose to love others, right? And so when we choose love over frustration or hate, no matter the situation, it will always be a positive outcome. I 1000% believe that.
Bro, and when you get a taste of love and you see it, you see it in other people, dude. It's like things start to come alive.
Yeah.
Like that's the best way I can put it.
Right.
Is like dreams come alive because it's like what you're saying just about I'm able to see the potential in people before they see it in themselves.
Yeah.
That is just you being like radically loving, bro.
Absolutely.
And it just takes one individual to just see a little something in somebody that can radically change their life.
The whole trajectory of their life. Just because like you see something in them, but you don't just like motivate them and encourage them. You love them. Yeah. Right. And you love them through the good. You love them through the bad and of course the ugly.
Yeah.
And I've been able to do this. I've had the opportunity to do this, I should say, with all of my employees.
Yeah.
And these individuals that come into our organization where maybe they've never experienced that type of love, especially in a work environment. Right.
Yeah.
To say like, someone comes in and they have their struggles and they have their hardships and say, I'm going to choose love over anything that you've ever experienced before. And I'm going to show you what you're capable of.
Yes.
Right. And when you bring it from a compassionate way like that, they're so much more open. Right.
Yeah.
They like, okay, Josh, I trust you. I trust you. And that's all it is.
Yes.
That's all it is.
I know. Well, we were talking a little bit off camera, and when I was doing my deep dive over the last few days, I was like, well, first I was going through your pictures and I was like, all right, man, like, I just want to try and pull some quotes, see, you know, because it's like, dude, our social medias tell such a story.
I know.
I was
like, is this guy, is he a business owner? Is he a douchebag? Is he, I don't know what he is.
Just trying to figure him out. But then I went to your tagged photos.
Uh-oh, open it up.
No. And it was great because, dude, I just saw like I could, you know, I see the pictures, like your employees. It's like you guys have such a unique and cool relationship with all of them.
Yeah.
And it really does give off like family vibes.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's super, super cool. Like I could literally like feel it like through the pictures, which was super cool.
I think the reason that is number one, I got to give credit above, and God has blessed me with some of the most amazing people.
Yes.
But furthermore, the individuals that we have here is that my number one focus with my people is number one, to create a top tier experience for our customers, but a generational impact for the employees. Yeah. And I am huge on development and knowing that, first off, one employee can get from A to Z much different than another employee can get from A to Z. But it doesn't mean one's right and one's wrong. And the approach that I take with all my employees is development. And I think in today's society, especially young entrepreneurs and business owners, we're so quick to just fire someone and let someone go. And I'm often reminding my people when they come to me with X, Y, and Z issues with said employee, I'm saying, they're like, hey, this person might not be a good fit here anymore. Well, I was like, number one, I'll decide that. Yeah. but number two, I was like, let's dive into why you feel that way. Because their issue is an issue that can easily be fixed with development. And that development comes from love. Yeah. And that's all it is.
Yeah. You don't quit on people.
No. And I'll say it's a double-edged sword too. It's also gotten me into trouble.
I've heard that from multiple people on this podcast.
It's also got me into trouble because something that I have also had to learn in business recently is that because I approach everything with such a compassionate, loving way, it also can be blinding.
Does that ever hurt?
In what way?
Like, you know, I guess, have you ever experienced like, you know, you wear your heart on your sleeve, you're radically loving in people, and you have a bad experience with somebody. Has a situation like that happened? I mean, you've been in entrepreneurship for the last eight years?
6+ years, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you keep your heart soft and like not callous yourself to?
It's good. Number one, of course, relationship with Jesus. That's my foundation. Yeah. And I have done business without staying close to Jesus. Yes. And things got hard. Yeah. Things got very, very hard. And I'll probably talk about that here in a little bit.
I'd love to hear that. Yes.
But relationship with Jesus and surrounding yourself with the right people, of course. My mother is fantastic. I love her to death. She is a director for rehab and wellness at Knox Community Hospital, physical therapy, and she manages 80+ employees. And being a business owner, a young entrepreneur, you know, one thing that I've always said that I don't like about entrepreneurship and starting your own company, and this is the reason that many people go into it, but I don't like not having a boss. Unpopular opinion, right? Most people are like, I can't wait to work for myself, right? I don't like not having a boss because I know I'm young. I know I'm ignorant. I know I have a lot to learn. And so when you don't have that mentor, right, over you, sometimes your back's up against the wall and you're trying to make decisions that no one's telling you what to do. And so thankfully, my mother is fantastic. Yes. Like I'm a mama's boy.
Yes,
for sure.
And I can feel it. I know you are.
I'm a mama's boy. Like I look up to my mom. She's a dog. I respect her. I love her. I'm thankful for her. But I mean, I go to her for a lot of my direction. Yeah. And it's rewarding in that way.
Yeah. I like what you said about like I'm young, and this is even a great reminder for me because it is like we don't know it all by any means. And the moment you think you know it all, you're screwed. Yeah. And that all comes from a place of pride.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. And that's like one thing I've been wrestling with the last like several months is like when you get a little taste of, you know, quote unquote success early. Yeah. It can be great, but if your heart isn't like in the right spot, it can be like
1000%.
devastating to
1000%.
so yeah, I don't know.
And here's the thing, man, like God will take it away as fast as he gave it to you.
Yes.
And
have you experienced that?
yeah. So this is good. Lock in, everyone. So 2023 in business was our greatest year yet. We were putting up record numbers like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
There was a lot of clout around the company. We were starting to get a lot of great traction. A lot of people wanted to work for the company. And people were just coming to me like wanting to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, like I will create a position for you. I see the potential in you,
Yeah.
right? I sit down with them like, okay, wow, you have this skill set. Let's utilize it here. And so I've always pushed the business in a very lean standpoint, right? I've always like pushed the envelope as far as cash flow purposes. And just because the goals and aspirations are very grand for the company, and we'll probably get into that here in a second.
Yes, we will.
But I in 2023 hired a handful of amazing individuals, and we were putting up record numbers. We were breaking ground on our new headquarters that we launched inside of in 2024. And 2023, the flesh got a hold of me, right? I started living for the world.
Yeah.
I spent less time in the Word.
Why? How did that? I like to.
How did that happen?
Yeah. How did that happen? What was that? Can you pinpoint the moment where you were like, all right, looking back on it now, it was at that moment when I started.
Probably getting semi-reckless in some of my hiring.
Yeah.
And probably working too much off of emotion versus numbers and facts.
Yeah.
And just, not that I put the wrong people in place, but it was the wrong timing.
Yeah.
And my judgment was probably skewed.
Bro,
by the
emotional
flesh.
intelligence is like
It's everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Dude.
I was also having, and we'll talk about it here in a little bit, because right now, if you're listening to this and we haven't got into it yet, I'm referring to my baby, Visionary Meals, which is a healthy meal prep company. But I also own Visionary Restoration, which is a
Roofing.
construction, but we specialize in roofing, siding, and gutters. Yeah. But prior to launching that company, I was with another roofing company just in sales, and I was also having a lot of success there. And so we hear it all the time. Money can be the root of all evil, right? And I say can be the root of all evil because money can also be used for a lot of good.
Yes, absolutely.
And
we love talking about money on
absolutely.
here. Yeah.
Oh, we love money. Like we love making money. Like we love money. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
There's a right way and a wrong way.
Yeah.
But cash flow got very healthy and got reckless. So 2023, that was that period of time. And then putting up record numbers, we moved into our new headquarters 2024. And sales dropped. We weren't really sure why. I think part of the economy was very up and down.
Yeah.
2023, I know a lot of money was put into the economy, right? And so people had, money to play with.
Yeah.
But regardless, our sales dropped in 24. And there was a point in time I was running payroll bi-weekly, and I was transferring over 10 G's every payroll just to make payroll. Pressure. Back was against the wall.
Yeah.
And so this happened for majority of 2024. I mean, we took a loss in 24.
Yeah.
23 was a positive year. 24 was a loss, and 25 will be positive. But
Good.
There was a point in time that I had to look at myself and said, okay, Josh, the decisions you're making do not align with the Spirit.
Yeah.
Do not align with why God put this vision on your heart.
Yes.
And I was walking in the flesh, and as I was walking in the flesh, I was literally watching things fall apart around me. And that was an eye opener to me. Yeah. I was just like, Josh, you either fix this now, or your dream is going to be ruined by the world.
Yeah.
And it was heavy.
Wow.
It was tough, and it was a really hard year.
Yeah. And well, I think too is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard in a interview, you haven't, or maybe this was last year on podcast that we were talking about.
Inside story.
It's an inside joke, guys. You wouldn't get it. But you're saying how you haven't, like, you don't take, I guess, profit, or like You don't pay yourself from that business.
Yeah. Also a very unpopular opinion. So 6 years now, Visionary Meals, I haven't taken one penny.
Dude,
not one penny.
I love that. One of my mentors was telling me about, Cardinal Health, right?
Yeah.
So I guess their founder, dude who I'm talking about, he's pretty close with him or someone in the family. And he was saying how this guy didn't take a penny for the first 10 years. And he asked me, he was like, how long are you willing to endure and to like not see the fruit from it? Like, how long can you endure the process, bro? It's because we do not have long time horizons, don't exist in, the younger generation, which that's like one thing I'm really trying to get better about. Because like when you extend your time horizon, you can breathe a little bit, because it's like, wow, I'm not going to figure this out overnight. I just need to be diligent with what today is. But yeah, it's just how long can you endure?
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm not doing this business for me.
Yeah.
This business was not my idea. Mm-hmm. This business was laid on my heart.
Yeah.
And
talk about that Saturday night when it was laid on when you're calling out to God, and you're like, I need clarification. I need confirmation.
Yeah. So long story short here, I'll keep it short. Police academy, law enforcement was always my plan. Mm-hmm. I was going to kick down doors, catch bad guys.
And I could totally see you doing that.
Right? Everyone says that. You're like, you look like a cop. Right? I'm like, I don't know nowadays if that's good or bad. But
undercover cop.
Undercover, right, exactly. When that was the thing, I was like, I wanted to do like special for like SWAT, like undercover stuff like that. And that was always a passion. I thought that's what my purpose was. And I go to college, playing football at Wittenberg University. I'm getting a degree, sociology, minor in sports management.
Yes, sir.
My social degree was specialized in criminal justice. Like I said, I was going to be a cop. Mm-hmm. Junior year, the individual I was seeing at the time, we were visiting her family in Texas. Mm-hmm. Came across this brick and mortar meal prep. It was after a workout. We're like, we want something healthy. Went in there, we sat down, started eating this meal. And we're like, this is cool. Like, what if we brought this back to Ohio? I mean, this was almost 10 years ago, probably.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, almost 10 years.
Incredible.
Incredible, right? And that's kind of like where the idea was like kind of planted.
Yeah.
And we'll just keep rolling.
Yeah, keep going.
This sounds like an air compressor.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's kind of where the idea was planted. And fast forwarding, we went back to college. The whole flight home, we're kind of like dreaming of the business.
Yes.
Start coming up with the name of the business, the colors, and just the fun stuff of a business.
Yeah.
Well, we get back to college, and of course, I'm playing sports. I'm getting my degree. I'm like, this is the last thing that's on my mind. Fast forwarding, graduate, I enroll into the police academy, and I start that process. I start all the training, the testing. I'm getting prepped to take my journey through the police academy. And for about 3 weeks in a row, I started waking up in the middle of the night around the same time with just
3 a.m.
Around 3 a.m.
Oh, bro, things happen at 3 a.m.
I tell you, it was like 2, 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Yep. I was like just a flood of ideas.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, this is weird. So I'd get out and I'd start just writing these ideas down. And I was like, okay, let's just entertain this. Like, okay, God, right? I'll entertain this. So I start doing the business plan, right? Pick the name, pick the slogan, envision the best you. And then being strong on my faith, I was like, if this business were to happen, I know I'm going to want to have some type of foundation in the word.
Yeah.
And so I prayed over and selected a Bible verse, 1 Corinthians 10:31. So whatever you do, whether you eat or drink, do it all for the glory of God.
Yes.
And if there's anything that I knew about business at that time, is that if you can spend less, than you're making, you're going to stay afloat, right?
Yeah.
Keep your overhead low.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, if we were to do this business, where would we do this out of? Like kitchen, that sounds expensive, right?
Yeah.
And so the church that I was attending, or we were attending at the time, had this brand new commercial kitchen, immaculate, everything that we would need to operate this business. I was like, well, we go to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm cool with the pastor. Like, they'll definitely let us use this, obviously.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it was a Saturday night. I was coming home from a buddy's house, and this just like emotion just like hit me. And again, like I'm like probably a quarter, almost a halfway through the police academy. And I just felt God like put this on my heart.
Bro, you got to talk about that feeling. What did that feel like on your heart?
Pressure. Like pressure in a way of like nudge.
Yeah.
Like
it's like you have to do this.
Yes. You ever get that like nudge when you're with someone and God's like, pray.
Yes.
Pray over them.
Dude, I've had that.
Your heart starts racing
multiple times. I don't know if you knew this. So I was going to Miami University and I dropped out of college to kind of begin my entrepreneurial journey. And it was that I experienced that where it's almost like, it's like, oh, I'm not going to be able to have rest until I make this decision.
Correct. And I think that's what the waking up in the middle of the night was. It was like, God, like, come on,
dude,
put this out there. Yes. And it was Saturday night. And I said, okay, God, like I feel everything that you're putting on my heart.
Yeah.
Like I feel it, but like, God, like, come on, man. Like I'm supposed to kick down doors. I'm supposed to catch bad guys. I'm going to be a cop. Like, this is what I've been training for, God. What's this mule prep thing? And I prayed that night, and I said, very, very heavily in that prayer, I was like, God, I feel you putting this on me. I need you to show me. Please show me that this is what you want me to do.
Yeah.
Went to bed that night, and the next morning it was Sunday, and we went to church. And as we were leaving church, the individual I was with, she goes, Josh, we're going to go look at this kitchen a little bit further to see if it will actually work. I was like, yeah, that sounds great. So we're walking out, we walk into the kitchen, and we're just looking around. We're like, oh my gosh, okay, this space is perfect.
Yes.
We can do this there, we'll do that there, we'll set up a line there, we'll do that there, we'll prep here. Perfect. Yeah. Like, this is everything that we need. Let's go talk to who we need to talk to. Yeah. And as we're leaving, she goes, Josh, stop. I go, stop. She goes, look up on the wall behind you. And behind me on the wall was decaled 1 Corinthians 10:31.
Come
so
on,
whatever
you
you
can't
do,
make that up, bro.
Do it all for the glory of God. And I said, wow. I said, okay, God. I literally asked you to show me, and you showed me.
And he showed you, bro.
And the funny thing is,
why don't people pray those prayers? God, show me. I need it.
Faith over fear, man.
Yeah.
Faith over fear. And funny story, as I was leaving, or we left, and then that week I hit up the pastor. His name's Tom. I said, Tom, got a great idea, man. He said, great, pitch it to me. Pitched it to him. He said, Josh, I love it. I was like, I'll talk to the board, the trustees, and see what we can do.
Yeah.
He speaks to them. It was an hour later. He got back to me. He said, Josh, they shut you down.
Oh, no.
They're like, it's too much of a liability. I said, okay, cool.
No.
So I was like, God just used that space to like show me that this is what he wanted. So the business ended up starting on a 4-burner stove.
Yeah.
So small, you couldn't even fit 4 pans. We were in there for a few months. Moved in my mama's kitchen. We were in there for a few months. We moved into about 1,000 square foot storage space.
Yeah.
It's just a shell, had a bathroom. My old man's a master plumber. Him and I went in there. We plumbed out the whole thing to be a functional commercial kitchen. We operated out of there for a few years, and now we sit in a 7,000 square foot headquarters in Granville, Ohio.
Come on, man.
God is good. Incredible.
Come
right?
on, bro.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's you could have definitely took that. You could have taken that shutdown, quote unquote, one of two ways. You could have been like, well, I guess my discernment was
absolutely
not there, but you're like, no, I saw what I needed to see.
Yeah.
And I know this was placed on my heart. So
absolutely. And looking back, it is crazy because like there were so many things that fell into line on why this business never should have started.
Yeah.
Like I tried to get, capital, got denied. I was so young. I didn't have anything there. So God bless my grandmother. She loaned me $10,000. And that allowed me to put a little bit of money towards a website.
Come on.
I purchased a couple refrigerators for our pickup locations, right?
Yeah.
And that everything else from there has been 100% bootstrap.
Crazy. Do you have any investors now, or is
No
it
investors.
just? That's incredible, bro. That's super cool. You've been in business for 7 years.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I would like. Literally, as you were talking about, like, oh, I got this idea that was laid on my heart 10 years ago. Yeah. And guess what? 10 years later, you're doing it now.
Doing it.
And you're still fired up about it because you're like, I know this is going to have such a big impact.
Absolutely. And it is having an impact, right?
Yes.
The impact might not be in my bank account, right? But the impacts and all the people that touch, the impacts and my employees, creating a place for them to call home, a career, right? And that's partially why I don't pay myself. There have been times where I've been like, okay, I'm probably in a position to pay myself.
Yeah.
But the plans are so grand for the company. I'm not here to be a small business.
No.
We're here to be an everyday household.
Yes.
And Visionary Meals will be an everyday household someday.
Yeah.
Right? We will be in everyone's homes. That's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm choosing now to wait on my nut, right?
Yes.
So I can take care of my people, create a legacy and a life for them, right? Because I know my time's coming.
Yeah.
And that's how.
Oh, I love
that's
that,
how
man.
roofing ends up getting tied into things, because obviously I got to support myself.
Yes, yes.
So
Dude, I love that. Well, I heard in an interview that you did, you were talking about how, well, there's a teacher who said, who told your mom, Josh should really start considering trade schools because college is not going to be for him.
Facts.
How did that make you feel?
If anything, I think that made my mom feel a type of way more than anything.
Yeah.
Right. I was pretty young, I think, when this happened, but it is a true story. This teacher at a young age, I grew up with an IEP. School was never my thing, not a test taker. I never missed a class. I can say I've never missed going through college. I never skipped one class. I was always on top of my stuff.
Yeah.
But I just had a hard time retaining the information. So I had an IEP growing up my entire life. But yeah, this teacher said, Debbie, my mom, Josh should consider trade school because that's going to probably be the best route for him.
And at that time too, like we know now, like trade school is such a smart decision.
Absolutely.
Oh my
right.
gosh, bro.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Looking back, the teacher spot.
But at the time though, she's
it's
most likely saying that from a place of, oh, Josh
degrade.
isn't that smart,
Degrade
like,
almost.
which is total bull crap.
It's almost lessening their potential.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like that. He can't do what everyone else is striving to do, so this is an option.
Yeah.
Right? And shout out to all of our trade people. I mean,
oh my gosh, yes.
Especially nowadays, like you can't find someone that knows how to plumb, electric, I mean, anything. So shout out to all of our trade people.
Yes, and also, not to mention, those guys make bank.
They kill it.
Like,
kill it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
when someone tells me they're an electrician, I'm like, baller.
Yeah. And how about this, dude? I just recently actually just made a post on LinkedIn like earlier this week talking about, I was like, okay, I asked the question, what is the utility of a business degree in 2025? Like, is there some serious, and because, and I'm just going to try to remember these facts off my top of my head, but for fees, tuition, and all that, you spend $117,000 on higher education.
It's crazy.
About 50% of grads are underemployed. That means that they're working jobs that they don't even need a degree for.
Wow.
In big businesses like IBM, Google, and Accenture don't even require college degrees anymore. It's skills and certificates.
Yeah.
And
college is a scam, bro.
Yeah, bro. And like, I mean, I try and, cause obviously I'm biased. But I was at school. I was like, man, like I'm at school studying. I'm trying to like finance, but like I'm looking at all these individuals, these professors. I'm like, I don't want to have the same exact results as you. And I'm like a big believer in just like, listen, I'm going to listen. I'm going to really internalize what somebody, like I respect them. Absolutely respect them.
Absolutely.
But as far as like me, like marrying to what they're saying, like I couldn't justify it in my head.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, man, it's just like we live in an age now where actually a mentor of mine told me this is for the first time in human history with the introduction of like AI and like the way things are going, the value of info and knowledge has gone down.
I can believe that.
And
talk on that more.
Yeah. And I've been wrestling with that like a lot, not necessarily wrestling, but just like, dude, ChatGPT and these language models, it's like you can find, like I have friends who are still in school. I'm actually going down to Miami University this weekend to my friends there. They're graduating, which is great. I mean, good for them.
Congrats. Yeah.
But I also talked to them and I'm just like, they're all using like
chat.
Yeah. Chat. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's crazy. I don't know how with the upcoming of AI, I don't know how schools, let alone learning.
Yeah.
Like the way it's going to develop is so scary. Like I'm very concerned. It's one of those things that it sucks because like you either get on board or you get left behind.
Yeah, dude. And that's the thing is we need to start, which like, so I've been over the last month and a half, like I've been doing like a deep dive on it because my eyes were kind of up and opened. I was like, holy crap. Like this is huge. And also too, only like 5% of businesses are actively implementing this. So this is a whole nother
5% of businesses actively
are implementing. Yes. And so there's this thing, it's called the technology life.
Lower than I would have thought.
Yes. So I was at the Ohio Tech Summit last week. It was all right.
Okay.
Wasn't really that great. But the president of Ohio State was there, and he dropped that stat. He said 5% of businesses are actively using it and trying to like implement it. It's just crazy. So there's this thing called the technology adoption life cycle, and it goes like this. And which the camera, I know I was kind of like,
I was like, well, I'm going to follow this curve. Yeah. Show me this curve.
So I can send it to you. But so there's the, in the very beginning, there's the innovators, and then there's the early adopters, then there's the early majority, then there's the late majority, and then there's just the whatever after that. And we're in the early adopter stage.
Interesting. With AI.
Yes. So, but the thing is most people are using AI as like chat as just like a search engine. Right. But the thing is if you can learn how to interact, if you can learn how to prompt, that's what all these schools are going to be starting to teach is how to prompt AI. Because so it's like I've been learning this. It's like there's a total framework on how to get it like super efficient, to get it dialed in
on chat. Yeah.
And it's all about your prompting. But like even I was messing around with this. I just created a reel actually the other day for the podcast on an episode I released today. And I used this thing called Runway. It's Runway AI. And it literally takes a photo and will animate it into a video. And you just prompt it, tell it what to do in the video. And then it'll create. So like I animated like Aristotle. Yeah. And I was like in the prompt, I was like, okay, I want you to do this kind of shot, zoom out, and then I want him to like look intently at the camera. And it did that.
It's crazy.
And so it's just, yeah, bro, so much is changing right now. Like,
what do you think of AI?
I personally, honestly, I don't even think you can say, I think to say like, oh, it's good or bad is like, I think it's insignificant because it's just something you have to learn to do. Yeah, it's like, because if you say, oh, it's bad, it's like, okay, well, everyone in the world is still going to use it.
Correct.
So it's like, you're 100%. Literally for what you said a couple minutes ago is like, you're either going to you're going to adopt it, you're going to get left behind. And like, especially like as like a business owner is like, you aren't in the business of getting left behind.
Correct. Yeah. No, we're actually currently working with a company. Shout out my boy Cass. It's called AI Owl. And they come in and they help you integrate this software with your business.
Yes.
And to teach you how to learn AI. And it's actually supported and funded by the government.
What?
Swear. They have like
dude,
we're applying for this, and it's like they give out thousands of dollars to make this happen.
Trump actually, I saw this. This is going to be a big difference, but it was either 500 million or 500 billion. So that's a huge difference. Right, I know it's 500 for sure.
A lot of dollars.
Still a lot of dollars regardless.
Yeah.
But they're investing in that and building out like AI infrastructure in the United States, which is.
You have to. Oh, I'm sure like China, like they're already way ahead of that.
Oh yeah. Well, and my mom actually, because she knows I'm going down this rabbit hole and I still live at home with my parents. Love it.
Nothing wrong with that, bro.
Nothing wrong with that at all. But she comes, my mom's always listening to the radio in the morning. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, why do you have the radio on? But she was like, oh my gosh, like Donald Trump was just talking about how schools need to start implementing like AI in like elementary schools and things like that because China's starting to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
If you're going to, it literally, your preference is actually, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's irrelevant. Your preference is irrelevant. Yeah. You're either going to adopt this or you're going to, you're going to be lost.
Yeah. Well, in this AI meeting, they're like, Josh, where do you think you can implement, AI the most? Yes. And I was like, I have no idea.
Customer service, like,
everything. Bro. Yeah. Customer service. Seriously. Yeah. Which that's an interesting like transition because how much does the customer hate that? Right. But
they won't know.
Seriously. I know I've seen some modules of like AI and it's incredible. Yeah. It's scary. It's scary. And so back to the question of like, do you love or hate AI? I agree with you. You can't love and or hate it, right?
You just have
you have to learn to accept it and deal with it. But it's scary. It's going to be interesting how it changes the world. I actually just read an article yesterday about this young boy, and this is really sad, but this young boy was in a relationship.
Oh, with AI or something like that.
With AI, with chat or some type of platform. And he ended up taking his life.
Whoa.
And from my understanding of the article, the AI, the chat, helped guide him on how to do so. And I know that the family is of course, like, lawsuits and stuff are taking place.
Yeah.
But it's really sad. It's really scary, and it's concerning. It is concerning for our young generation. I think there's going to have to be some very, very strict parameters put onto this, not only for the safety of everyone, but for the well-being of us as a society. We can't stop learning.
Yeah.
And yes, we're learning how to use AI, and it's eventually going to be in everything that we do. But I implore that, like, people need to continue to challenge their minds.
Yes.
And as I've integrated AI and ChatGPT and things that I do, because it's made me more efficient, it's made me more accurate, it's made me just better all around, especially with, like, emails and stuff. It's crazy. I even at times check myself, like Josh, don't stop challenging your mind, right? Because I enjoy writing. I like to think I'm such a good writer.
Yes.
But I use AI so much now, and I'm like, am I going to lose that skill set?
Yeah.
Right. And so these are skill sets I think that we're never going to get from people, because an artificial intelligence is doing it all for them.
Yeah.
So it's a love-hate for sure.
You're not exercising your brilliance. That's what it comes down to.
You're not. And like, I beg the question, like, are we going to get stupid as a culture, as a society? I mean, I think we're going to be smart in our own ways of artificial intelligence, but, like, man, it's scary.
I know. I don't know if we're going to get stupid. I just think it's going to look very different.
Very different.
Which it's like, yeah, I don't even know exactly how to wrap my mind around that. But that is what you shared about that kid. Like, that is it's terrible. Because, like, the thing is, because, like, AI is like, how do I put this? It's going to give you whatever information you want. It's not going to direct you, because it doesn't have, at least not from what we know, it doesn't have emotion.
Right.
So it's like, if a kid is hinting at,
like, how do I do this?
Yeah, it's going to give you exactly how to do it.
Yeah,
which that is,
like, people, like, are there parameters like that need put on, is my question.
Yeah.
But then, like, do we start, next thing you know, we're going to start handcuffing AI, and it's just like, are we not maximizing the tool? And so, like, I think at the end of the day, though, this is a much deeper issue. And, like, rest in peace, of course, to that individual.
Yes.
But the AI was not the issue here.
No.
Right. And I'm not going to sit here and say what was, but it's deeper than AI.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the whole, I mean, I'm going to say this is like, you know, with, like, school shootings, was it the gun's fault, or was
Correct.
it the
right? Exactly. No, it's not the gun's fault.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. So it's just like, but now figure out, it's like, and it's like, there's probably some people who may be listening to this and be like, oh, we need to get rid of
cancel AI.
It's like, no, bro. It's like, we have a much deeper rooted issue.
Yeah.
And I think it comes down to connection. Human connection is like, we long for connection.
Yeah.
And we just don't get that because of things like social media. It's so, I mean, dude, the kid had a relationship with an AI for a reason. He was feeling validated, feeling connected, which is crazy, but
yeah. Oh yeah. That incident, the end result of that, it stems back way farther farther back of what led to that.
Yes.
That was just, unfortunately, the end result.
Yeah, man. All right, well, that was heavy. I'm gonna take a take a turn. We're gonna turn into another direction.
Wake up, y'all.
Yeah.
I know you're down right now, but we're gonna check.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. It's beautiful out. We're chilling. Back to, this year is 2025, and I believe that your guys' company slogan is "No one's watching."
He did his research, y'all.
I tried, man. I tried.
Hey, the podcast y'all are listening to, this man does his homework, right? Like, I've been on some funky podcasts, but this dude, he does his homework, and it's all legit, authentic information. So keep tuning in.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Well, what does the term "no one's watching" mean to you? And I want to know why you chose "no one's watching," because I know you're talking about with what you shared about 2024. It's like just man, we gotta get back to the basics. Like, let's talk about that.
Yeah, man. So 2023, our slogan was "Move Faster." We're a young company. We had a lot of momentum, like I said, and we said, let's keep moving, like move faster. Like if you think we're moving fast now, go even faster, right? In business, no decision is the wrong decision, right? Just make a decision. If it's
fail faster.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Fail forward. So that was move faster was 23. 24 was chop wood, haul water. Basically meaning just like the everyday mundane tasks, just like keep moving, keep chopping that wood, keep hauling that water, right? And that's when we're in the building phase of our new headquarters, a lot of new transitions and a lot of new processes. And we when we moved into this current headquarters that we're in, it was like, okay, it's time to start acting like a business. I mean, previously we were operating out of like a storage unit, which it got us to where we are. Yeah, praise God. But we just didn't have like true policies and procedures that we were following.
Yeah.
And 24 became that. And that's also why 24 was a hard year, is because we implemented all these things.
Yeah.
25 hit, and the foundation, was built immensely over 2024. And I got looking at our team. I spent some alone time in my office one night, and this was the end of 24. And I said, okay, what is this year going to look like? What is 2025 going to look like? And the idea around no one's watching is that two things. There's really two meanings in it. Is no one's watching what you're doing. No one cares about you. Yeah. Right? Yep. Like they don't. They care about themselves.
Yes.
No one's watching. So stay in your lane and just be the best individual that you can be. But also furthermore, as we have created and cemented these foundations and standards for us as a company, no one's watching means when no one is watching, are you willing to do the little things right? Yes. When it comes to, our meal prep containers and prepping these meals, I mean, we are very strategic, and we weigh everything that goes inside these containers. Yeah. So employee, when your scale wasn't zeroed out, are you fixing that to do it the right way? When no one's watching, when a manager's not breathing down your neck, when I'm not watching the cameras, right? Are you willing to do the little things right? Yeah. When, I got on my team the other day, I was like, hey guys, when we get up from this meeting, you push your chair in. Push your chair in. No one's watching, right? When you toss in something in the trash can and crumbs hit the rim and it falls on the ground, are you walking away from that? Or are you picking it up and setting the standard for the next person? Come on. Right? Those are the things that we're doing as a company, the little things. It's not about someone watching us. It's about ourselves watching ourselves, right? So when no one's watching, are you willing to do the extra step? Are you willing to go the extra mile? Are you willing to do what is right? When if you didn't pick up those crumbs around the trash, it's not going to be a big deal. No one's going to know it was you, right? And that all starts with the leadership. Yeah. And that's where I failed in 23. I was not setting that standard for myself, and people will follow you, right? As a leader. And so 24, and then so 25, it's been about making sure I hold myself to a higher standard.
That self-awareness is so key, because you're a person of influence, you have influence. Yeah. Like what I was saying earlier, like you're magnetic, and I'm sure you probably got told that when you were younger. Yeah, for sure. It's like, oh, if Josh hangs out with the right people, he's gonna lead people. Because I got told the same
thing, man.
Same
thing my whole life.
Yeah, and that's so true, because people will follow your footsteps.
Yeah, they will, and that's one thing too. It's when I got lackadaisical in 2024, and I got comfortable. Like, because we just came off a killer year, and so this was before numbers and our curve started to dip.
Did that scare you?
Yes. But even when I was transferring thousands of dollars to make payroll, I never had like a fear of doubt. I always had this like feeling that like we're gonna be okay. We're gonna keep showing up. But I was scared. Yeah. I mean, there was nights I didn't sleep. But it's crazy, man. At that point in time, I finally woke the F up and said, okay, like I understand God. Like I understand that like you it's not that you've abandoned me, but like I'm not living for you. So why do I deserve your help? Almost, right? And I know God never left me, and I know his love was always there.
Yeah, always.
But even in those times where I was transferring money from a savings account, and every week watching that balance just get smaller and smaller and smaller, I eventually got to a point. It was leading up to payroll, and I said, okay, I think I've got one more transfer in me. And I woke up that Monday morning to a bank account that said like negative like $400 some. I've got the picture. And I said, oh crap.
Gonna have to frame that.
I've got like $15,000 to run in payroll today or something like that. And that week for Visionary Restoration, my business partner and I started that, and we ran that company for a few months before we saw pay from there. And by the grace of God, that was the week that we were able to pay ourselves.
Come on, man.
And we were able to pay ourselves very healthy. It was a very healthy pay. and
Yes.
the timing of him.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just like, I don't deserve that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not deserving of that type of help or that type of love.
That's just the father he is.
That's just the father he is. And I had the opportunity to stay faithful. He gives us free will. So I still got to choose him through the hardship. And to this day, I'll still say, like, even if that money didn't fall, like, I still choose him.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But I also got to experience, I really got to experience how hard life can be. Not putting him at the center. Flipping that script and him saying, I'm here.
Yeah.
And showing up.
Come on, bro. That's
and
incredible.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And things are still like challenging.
Yes.
They are. But I move differently, and I move with him at the center.
Yeah. What did that, in the time when you're transferring from savings account, things aren't going, what did that do to your ego? It had to have offended it a little bit. For
sure. Yeah, man. So roofing, the company that I was with prior to launching Visionary Restoration, a buddy of mine started the company. He approached me, said, hey, Josh, I got a sales position. At the time, I was doing personal training. I used to train athletes. This was like in parallel of running Visionary Meals, of course. I was running the business, supporting myself by training athletes. A lot of time, sometimes can be decent money, but not the type of money that I was necessarily chasing. And he said, Josh, I got an opportunity for you. I said, okay. We met, sat down. He spelled it out to me. I said, wow, sounds like a great opportunity. Yes. Sounds like a great opportunity for anybody in roofing or that knows the business. There's a reason there's a lot of people that do it. It's a very saturated market. But I said, okay, let's do this. So I start in roofing, and it wasn't long that I was able to drop training, right? I was like, okay, now I see. Done training, right? I was like, wow, I can make 3 times the amount in literally a fraction of the time, say less, right?
Yes.
Crazy. And I forget what I was going with this. What was I just saying? I was talking about the money that we were making and God being faithful.
Yeah. So the question, what I was asking, I was like, what did that do to your ego?
Yeah.
Then you're saying how it's tough and.
Yeah. So, started making that money.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was able to flush a lot of this capital.
Yeah.
Back into the business.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And for 3 years in a row, I was the top sales producer at the roofing company.
Let's go.
Multi-million-dollar producer while running a company. And that's
incredible.
why when I with my guys now that I hire, I'm like, I don't want to hear your excuses. I was running like now the largest meal prep company in the state of Ohio while the top producer in sales for this roofing company. It's like, your excuses suck. I don't want to hear them. Right. So I was a multi-million-dollar producer for about 3 years.
Were you
in a row.
knocking doors still?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you were knocking doors.
Knocking doors, bro. I would grind through the business usually Monday through, Thursday or Friday. I'd go knock doors Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes on a Wednesday. And I just mastered my craft. So I maximized my time that I was in the field.
Yes.
But I was out there. Till sundown. I was knocking on people's doors as they were getting ready to sit down for family dinners, right? I'm just I'm here though, right?
Yeah.
And so I was a multi-million-dollar producer and found a lot of success there and was able to really create a healthy cash flow of reserve, right?
I think the key too is what you're just saying about I was knocking doors until the sun went down. Is most sales reps who are just doing that for their normal job aren't going to do that.
Correct.
But because you had a seed, and then with the visionary meals, it's like, no, I have to do this so I can support that. I don't have a choice.
There was no choice. Yeah. And that's what I tell people all the time. I was like, the guys that come to me that their like backs are against the wall, I was like, you're going to be successful at this because of that. Right. It's the guys that think they walk into this space, controlling their own schedules, and they're like, great, I've got all the time and freedom, and like they fail within the first couple months.
Yeah.
Right. But anyways, just to finish my story, it was just like I had, because of my success, thank God, I was able to reserve as much cash flow. But talk about that ego. I saw hundreds of thousands of dollars like go away from my bank account.
Yeah.
And that hurt and that sucked.
Yes.
I got to a point in my career where I was like, I made it. I did it. I accomplished it. It was like growing up, like, years ago, it was like my goal was to make 6 figures. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, like I feel like 6 figures is like low key a must, you know what I mean, to survive, right?
To support, yes.
Yeah, seriously. So the goal is definitely much higher now. But, I did that and I was just like, okay, like I did it. And I thought I made it. And next thing you know, Visionary Meals was not rolling like it was in 23. And next thing I know is just all this money that I worked so hard for.
Yes.
Literally just got interjected into the business just to keep it afloat.
Yeah. Dude, that's incredible. What advice would you give to someone who feels torn between stability and a calling that they can't shake?
Oh, I mean, chase the calling all day long. Like stability, what is stability? Right? Mm-hmm. What do you consider stability? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like stability to one person is another, is something else to another. But chase the calling all day long because sure. If you chase stability, what do you get? Stability and nothing else.
Yeah.
If you chase the calling, you get purpose, you get passion, and if you do it right, you get stability.
Yes. Yes, bro.
So like, why not chase the calling? And if you fail, fine. Go find something stable.
Yes.
Yuck.
Yeah, I know. And I think what it all comes back to though is it all comes back to like why somebody would rather pursue stability than like their calling with like the gray, the unknown, is because it goes back to identity. Is they don't actually believe that they're one of a kind, that like the dreams and the visions that are placed on their heart and mind, they don't actually believe that those are for them. Right. They think everyone just has those, so then it's easy to just push those things. Or it's
for just a select few people.
Yeah. Like
the 1%ers. Like no, like God puts a vision in all of us, and He has a purpose for all of us.
I know. You just need you need to wake up to that.
You do. People need a big wake up call.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's a very soft society. Don't get started on that.
And it's super important as like, you're a leader and just like literally you're talking about instilling that into people, bro. Because once they're like, oh, wait, what? Got a calling on my life. I gotta go make it happen. Right. I know, like I'm not here for just just reason.
Yeah. Every customer that orders with Visionary Meals, every order, whether they order once a week, twice a week, once a month, whatever it is, they get a thank you card.
Yes.
Right. And the first time customers get a thank you card from me. Mm-hmm. And on that thank you card, I always end it with, remember, whatever you do in this life, just continue to chase your passions because your purpose is not far behind. And I am such a believer in that. And so many people do, let me make this clear, so many people do get mixed up with like that your purpose does not have to be your career, right? My purpose is not necessarily healthy food. My passion is helping people, right? And I have found a way in my career to help people. That's my passion and has now become my purpose.
Yes.
Right. And so I encourage so many people, just whatever you're passionate about, chase that, because that passion was instilled into you for a reason.
Yes.
You'll find what the purpose is.
Come on. And then I just got one more question for you.
Let's go.
What's the best piece of advice you have ever received? You can take a second to think about that too.
That's a great question. Best piece of advice that I have ever received.
It's a hard one.
That's
and
a
I
great
think
question.
Too is like, it could just be one that you recently heard that really stuck with you too. Or
I think that some of the best advice that I have ever, like, not just received, but been able to watch from people that I aspire to be or look up to, is almost cemented the season that I'm in my life of, like, because so many times some people will hear, Josh, you're not paying yourself yet. And they're like, man, there must be something wrong with the business, right? But that only ever comes from people that have never accomplished what I'm trying to accomplish. And so when I hear that, I take it with a grain of salt, because the individuals that have achieved what I want to achieve, time and time again, they just keep saying, keep your head down, keep showing up, serve the people, give it your all. And if you do it with so much passion and love, the outcome will come that you're looking for. And I think for me, it's not necessarily one line of advice, but more of action steps of just showing up every single day, trusting that, like, you are fulfilling the purpose that was laid out for you. And as long as you show up like that every single day and you keep God at the center, you can't fail. You just can't.
Yes.
And that's what I have so much confidence in, that, like, I don't know when that grand slam or that time is going to come where I'm, like, looking at the account. It's like, okay, it's time. But I do know it's going to come.
It will.
I do know it will come. And I do know that as long as I show up with a servant's heart and a servant's mindset, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's all that matters for me. And that's all that matters for my people. It's all that matters for our customers. And that's all that matters for our time here on this earth.
Yes. Man, I love that answer.
Thanks, bro. I love it, baby.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Daniel Kelley podcast. Actually, Visionary Meals is going to be sponsoring the podcast
coming soon,
which I'm super excited about. So yeah, guys, just thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow along on Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff. And I seriously appreciate everyone who tunes in. So thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.